I never thought moving to Seattle would change my life so drastically. My name is Emily Carter, and for years, my world revolved around predictable routines. Teaching at the local high school, spending quiet evenings with my husband David, and hosting Sunday dinners for our circle of friends. We had been married for almost a decade, and though the love was there, something about our life had grown ordinary, almost too quiet. It all began on a rainy Thursday evening, when a new neighbor moved in across the street. His name was Michael Anderson, a software developer from San Francisco who had chosen Seattle for a fresh start after his own marriage had ended. Unlike most new neighbors who kept to themselves, Michael seemed outgoing, always waving, always stopping to chat, even in the pouring rain. At first, it was harmless. Conversations about the weather, the city's best coffee shops, or the quirks of the neighborhood. But slowly, I found myself lingering longer by the mailbox when I knew he'd be there. I would catch myself wondering about his life, his past, and what had drawn him to our quiet corner of the city. David noticed my distracted nature but assumed it was from school stress. He often encouraged me to take time for myself, to explore hobbies again, to reconnect with the things that once made me excited. And that's when curiosity became a spark. I signed up for a weekend photography class at a local art center, something I hadn't done in years. To my surprise, Michael was also enrolled. The photography lessons became a turning point. We partnered on small projects, walking through Seattle's Pike Place Market, capturing the vibrance of fishmongers tossing salmon or the laughter of children chasing pigeons. On weekends, we'd explore Gasworks Park, taking wide shots of the city skyline and talking about dreams, regrets, and what it meant to begin again. One evening, after a long day of teaching, I found myself standing in front of Michael's porch, rain dripping from my umbrella. He invited me inside, offering tea and showing me an album of photographs from his travels. They weren't just pictures, they were pieces of a life filled with movement and risk, something so different from my safe, predictable world. I began to see what I had been missing. Not love, because David gave me plenty of that, but a sense of adventure, of stepping beyond the familiar. Michael's presence ignited something I hadn't felt in years, a hunger for discovery, not necessarily for him, but for the parts of myself I had buried beneath routine. It wasn't long before secrets became part of my days. Not lies exactly, but omissions. I wouldn't tell David about every outing with Michael. I justified it by telling myself it was innocent, just two friends exploring photography. But deep inside, I knew curiosity was leading me somewhere dangerous. One evening, David confronted me. His voice wasn't angry but steady. "Emily," he said, "I feel like I'm losing you. You're here with me but you're not really here." That moment broke me. Because I realized he was right. I hadn't crossed any physical lines, but emotionally, I was standing at the edge of something I didn't fully understand. The next day, I told Michael we couldn't keep meeting so often. He nodded, a faint sadness in his eyes, but he understood. He reminded me that sometimes curiosity opens doors, but it's up to us to choose which ones we walk through. In the weeks that followed, I sat with my feelings and spoke honestly with David. For the first time in years, we shared long conversations about what we wanted. Not just as a married couple but as individuals. We planned a trip together, picked up hiking again, and even signed up for a photography course as a couple. Looking back, I realized the story was never really about Michael. It was about me, about how secrets and curiosity had shown me what I was missing, and how that wake-up call helped me strengthen what I already had. My desires weren't about another person but about rediscovering myself.